Namaskaram, everybody. Sri Matre Namaha. Let's begin. Om. बीजापूरगदेक्षकर्मकुरुजाप्चक्राब्जपाशोत्पल व्रीयग्रस्वपुषानरत्नकलशायः प्रोद्यत्कराम्भोरुवः ध्येयो वल्लभया सपद्मकरया आश्लिष्टोज्ज्वलद्भूषया विश्वोत्पत्तिविपत्तिसंसतिकरो विघ्नेश इष्टदः श्रीनाथादिगुरुत्रयं गणपतिं पीठत्रयं भैरवम् सिद्धौघं वटुकत्रयं पदयुगं दौते क्रमं मण्डलम् वीरान्ध्यष्टचतुष्कषष्टिनवकं वीरावळी पञ्चकम् श्रीमन्मालिनिमन्त्रराजसहितं वन्दे गुरोर्मण्डलम् मातर्मे मधुकैटभग्निमहिषः प्राणापहारोऽध्यमे हेलानिर्मितधूम्रलोचनवदे हे चण्डमुण्डार्धिनि निःशेषे कृतरक्तबीजदनुजे नित्ये निशुम्भापहे शुम्भध्वंसनि संहर सुदुरितन् दुर्गे नमस्तेऽम्बिके सर्वं श्रीचण्डी महालक्ष्मी श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः सद्गुरुं श्रीपादुकां पूजयामि तर्पयामि नमः Welcome all of you from the Kamalalaya Kshetra. It's been such a blissful day overall being with Devi and not doing anything else. You know, literally, I did all was, to have some food to keep this shariram in place. Took some rest again to keep the shariram in place. And then whole day I was saying her nama, roaming around. I was like going around the temple, I can say even roaming around or maybe pradakshina, whatever you call in whichever language, you know, sitting there, wondering about life realities, say doing stotram, doing japam, thinking about all of you, thinking about Mahavidyalaya. Nothing else I did. What a life, such a happy life actually. Away from phone, away from internet. Only whenever I was messaging you all, I was sending some updates. But apart from that, like zero any activity apart from whatever I could be in the temple. It's the question will be like I've been writing on Shakti Kshetra reflections for a while now, and then why this is so important actually. Why this? What is the importance of Kamalalayam actually? The Tiruvarur Kamalambika temple. It is just one word answer. She's just waiting for us. Devi is waiting for each one of us. She is that Sampurna Shri Vidya Swarupini. She's waiting for each one of us. And just imagine, I just took all of you there actually, not just myself. That is what, the most important thing of this kshetra. Her tapas is for all of us. Her tapas is for us to end our sufferings, or that, somewhere or the other, my children should get this knowledge and should be able to traverse from this material world to the spiritual world actually. She's not having any other intention actually. She's she's absolutely independent. She's so away from her own spouse, because the temple, the Kamalalaya Kshetra, is separate within the entire Tyagaraja Swami temple. Tyagaraja Swami is, that is the first reflection which I wrote. Nilotpalambika is the Tyagaraja's manifestation. So what she does is that flower that she has in her hand, she manifests as a Shakti. And because she wants to fulfill the duty of, the duty bounded aspect of, being the Shiva Patni, she manifests herself as Nilotpalambika and she will do the Shiva Kutumbana. She becomes a Shiva Kutumbini, but her Sampurna Srividya Swarupam, she goes and does this tapas for her children actually, for us to come back to her actually, that we should realize, her entire tapas, that folding her legs and sitting and being in that deep meditation is for only and only for each one of us. And that is what is very significant in this kshetram actually. Imagine when you have this kind of knowledge, when you have this gratitude, when you have this thought process, and when you're able to stand in front of her actually. That is the reason it was like, there is no, I mean, Tiruvarur is a very small city actually, not as developed like Kumbakonam. Kumbakonam is the nearest biggest city actually, and there is no Ola or Uber. And somebody made this comment actually. I just said like, there is no Ola and Uber here. It is so difficult to travel. I said they have the eternal Ola and Uber here, because it is said that the one who's born in Tiruvarur has no birth again actually. All the people who are born in Tiruvarur, they do not have what is called as the rebirth, it seems actually. This is such a kshetram. And in the morning, if I have to tell you all, there was this, I mean, it was Devi Anugraham. I was roaming around. I was telling, right, I was roaming around here, and it's a huge temple. It's comparatively a huge temple. It has 365 Shivalingas are there in this temple. 78 Ganapati temples are there. 78 forms of Ganapati temples are there. In Kamalalaya, before we enter to have darshan of Ambika, there is Uchishta Mahaganapati is there actually. So there I was performing Uchishta Mahaganapati mantra japam and everything for a while, and then I was sitting there in the Sannidhi of Mahaganapati, and then I mean, it's a very powerful space actually. We can recognize the powers of sadhana. We can realize the powers of great sages, saints, acharyas. We can hear the reverberation of the Kamalambika Navavarna kritis actually. In the pillars of the temple actually. So coming back, so in the morning I was roaming around here and there and all these places. There was this one gentleman, a very old man actually came. And I don't know, like I was, of course, when somebody's like in Ngevangi, he was calling me, you come here. I was like a bit intimidated, what is he going to ask some money, or what is he going to say, what it is all about. Then I couldn't stop. He's very old actually, maybe like 70, 75 years old he must be. And he called me, you come here. I was a bit hesitant. He was like, oh no, illa, come here. Oh, no issues. You come here. Come closer to me. I went closer to him, and he was standing in a point. And he said, you stand here and you see the temple here, he said. I said, like, I was just looking at here. He said, from this point where I called you, when you're having the darshan, you can have all the darshan of the seven gopurams together at a single point of time. There are seven gopurams are there in temple actually. And then I was still trying to manage to know. Then he was like, then he counted for me. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that he counted for me. And you know what he said? These seven gopurams represents the seven stages of life. And when the moment you have the darshan of these seven gopurams, it means that you are crossing the seven stages of life, and your life is also ending the cycle of birth and death, because any life has seven, you take birth seven times. That's what they say actually. So that is represented in these seven gopurams, it seems. I was so shocked. And then again, it is further continuing. From there, I told you there are many Shivalingams are there, like 365 Shiva Sannadhis are there. And around that, there was this one Sannadhi actually. And he showed me, like, you can see all the kalashams on all the temples. Like he showed, like, I mean, Vimanam, like I said, yes, I can see. Can you see this one Shiva temple where there is no Vimanam? There is no kalasham on top of the temple. It's just a normal temple. It doesn't have a kalasham. I said, yeah, there is no Kalasham, what it is. Then he explained, there is no Kalasham on that temple because that Shiva directly came from Kailasa actually. That's the reason nobody did Pratishtapana of that temple. And then finally he says something actually, because this is there in my mind from a very long time that those who are born in Tiruvarur, they don't have Punarjanma actually, as I told you. And then he asked me, எங்கிருந்து வந்தீங்க நீங்க? कहाँ से आए? Like, where did you come from? I said, I came from Chennai, Tambram. He said, nothing doing. You are in Tiruvarur, now you belong to Tiruvarur. He said, and he just went away actually. He just said, you are in Tiruvarur and you belong to Tiruvarur. And he just left. Like that, miracles after miracles were unfolding actually that day. As I told you, this Ola and Uber, the story was like, if I have to tell you that part of the story, of course, there was no Ola and Uber, and I was not knowing what to do, where to call, and everything. I just came out from the stay where I'm staying, and then I was looking for what it is. Like, I can find some auto or something. Because we generally, after thankfully to this revolution of Ola and Uber, we don't want to go to the auto stand, right? Because they ask so much of money. We can't bargain with them. There's all those dynamics actually. But still there's no other option actually. So I went to this auto fellow. This only one auto was standing in that auto stand. They said that there's an auto stand nearby. You can just walk and you can ask them about this. And I just asked the reception people in the hotel. And I went to this stand and only one auto is there actually. And I told him, this is what it is. I just want you to take me to this. I found out the shop names and everything where we will get, you know, an extraordinary silk sari and everything, a big shop and everything. Like I told him I wanted to go and everything. Then he asked like, then he asked like, if you're going to, I told him, then he was afraid, like if you're going to buy a sari, you might take a lot of time. No, I said, I'll take maximum 10 minutes I will take. He said, will you be able to do that? In a 10 minutes, you will be able to select a sari. I said, yeah, I've been doing that from since age 5. I've been doing this, so I can select it actually, I can do that. So I went with him and I purchased and everything, and I came back and I was about to give him the money. You know what he said? I mean, he said, if you want, you call me. I will be available. So he gave a small, a paper in which he has written the phone number actually. On top of that phone number, the most important thing is it was Om Shakti was written actually. Om Shakti and then phone number. I asked him, what is Om Shakti? Is it your name? No, this auto is called as Om Shakti actually. I named this auto as Om Shakti, and that's the reason it's not my name. My name is different. The auto's name is Om Shakti actually. I mean, each and every step, you know, how it was unfolding in her presence actually. And in the evening, when I went to meet the Shastrigal actually, and I handed over the sari as I already had a pre-discussion with him in the morning, and then based on that, I went to the shop and got the sari and everything. I mean, the way the Shastrigal took the sari from me and he went and kept near Devi, it was as if Devi took the sari actually, and she kept like how a woman will be so happy looking into a silk sari actually, that same kind of a feel. I couldn't stop shedding tears, that it's not that she's dearth of saris actually. It's not that only we give actually, but that bhavana that is involved deeply, that the connecting layers that we performed, the sankalpam that we offered it there actually, you know it was as if she just hugged the sari, as if like she really loved it, and she kept it was kept right on her. It was kept that entire sari, that box, the way I gave it, just kept on Devi. And then Mangalarati was performed, and then he said, tomorrow in the morning I'll drape it, because they wanted it in the because the entire reason was that folded legs, actually, that folded legs. So that's the reason the Shastrigal requested, if you can give me in the evening itself, I can do it in a much more beautiful manner, because in the morning it will be a bit hurry after doing the Abhishekam and all the other cleaning procedures and everything. So if you want to get a sari, you can get it in the evening. That's the reason I wanted to take it in the evening itself, so that I won't, he can do the best actually, and we can have the best of the darshan. So, I mean, this is the reason why this kshetram is very important for each one of us doing, wanted to do Sri Vidya Sadhana, or wanted to involve in what is called as Devi Upasana. I mean, I can't put it in words actually. I have written 4 reflections for all of you, and tomorrow I'm trying to contemplate on the final reflection, writing on Lalita Sahasranama and trying to understand how she's a living manifestation of Lalita Sahasranama in itself. The only thing is that we should have abundance of grace actually, because my guru will say one thing very important actually. Blessings are something which unfortunately in today's time has become a kind of a transaction, actually, an economic transaction. You have to pay to get blessings, actually. You know, correct? You have to pay to get blessings. Giving dakshina is something else, actually. Shastram has a very different. We are going to just talk about dakshina kali now, actually. It has a kind of a relevance with what we are talking. We give dakshina is something else. But it's beyond the concept of dakshina in today's times. You need to pay to receive blessings, actually. Or is blessings are all about giving these kind of luxury things to the god or something like that, that here you are all in a space where blessings are being forced upon you, actually. you know a plate full of blessings are being handed over to you, actually. Take your blessings. That is what the shastram is talking about. The blessings should come in our way, actually. And who can get blessings? Who can get blessings on their way? The one who is blessed by Devi herself, actually. When Devi's kripa is there, then blessings are there, actually. That is the space we are trying to create here as a Mahavidyalaya. That you don't have to really pay for blessings, or you don't have to really seek blessings. Blessings are coming to you. Even if you don't want it, it is coming on your way. It is given to you. The only thing is that you utilize it, actually. You utilize it, you understand it, you take it forward, you seek it, you transform with it, and you move forward with it, actually, which is very essential in doing sadhana. Most of them think coming to our Mahavidyalaya that they are going to learn some chanting of some Devi Mahatmyam and, some Lalita Sahasranam and everything. But eventually they understand that there's a much larger purpose here, actually, and we are trying to unfold that larger purpose, and that larger purpose is nothing but unveiling grace, and that grace is unveiled through humility, actually. And humility is coming where? When you are actually an empty vessel, then it starts, actually. When you already think you know so much, I'm very sorry to say, humility is not a part of that kind of a patram, actually. Mm, That is a very important thing. And how that will come? That will come with grace, actually. Anugraham. Anugraham of Guru, Anugraham of Ambika should be there, actually. Constantly it should be there. Constantly. That is the reason these prayers, all these samashti upasana and all the other things that we are constantly doing is for this particular reason, which is very important. And moving forward, some very important instruction to all of you. Tomorrow, uh, all of you, uh, in the morning, please perform Lalita Sahasranama Japam actually. If you know Lalita Sahasranamam, if possible, if you're free, you can exactly start at 9 a.m. actually. 9 a.m. you can start because 9 a.m. exactly our Mahabhishekam will start. Our Mahavidyalayas Mahabhishekam will start for Devi and it will continue for 11:30 until 11:30. The Mahadeepa Aradhana will be unveiling. But I will be personally starting the japam and other upasana in the Sannadhi of Devi in the morning at 6:30 itself. Morning 6:30 India time, I'll be there. So if you're office goer and if you would be having work, so you can do it at 6:30 itself. You can think about Devi, you can think about this larger purpose of being in this Vidyalaya to study this Atma Vidya, you're remembering the fact that Devi is waiting for you and you connect with those energies, you connect with those spirits and you connect with our Mandali, our Mandali in itself is a Shri Chakra actually. So wherever you are in your spirits and in your bhavana, you can connect with Devi and you can perform your mantra japam, you perform your nama japa. If you have a mantram, you perform the mantra japam, or if you have nama initiated nama, you do the nama japam. Now, if somebody will ask me what is nama japam, Om Shri Lalitayai Namaha, Om Shri Durgayai Namaha, you just do the japam actually and perform minimum of a Sahasra Avarti, 1008 japams you perform actually. And those who have learned Lalita Sahasnamam from our Mahavidyalaya or you have previous exposure to the Lalita Sahasnamam, quietly perform the Lalita Sahasnamam and seek the grace actually, that you seek the grace and seek the humility from Devi and ask her that you are waiting for me. I have realized and I want to come back to you actually and let it not be so far away. It's not that in next births or next births. In this birth itself, try to give me that opportunity to come back to you actually, pray that offering and then write an email to me saying that you have performed your prayers of Lalita Sahasnamam and you completed your japam so that I can offer all the Samashti japam in the evening to Devi, all the counts that you are giving, like around, if for example, 10 of you are doing, for example, and if this 10,000 japam is coming, I'll go and offer that 10,000 japam at Devi as a Samarpanam and I will start from Tiruvarur actually. So send me an email. If you cannot do it in that time zone, do it in whatever time zone it is possible for you because our students are there all over the world. So do it in your own time zone and make sure that you write an email to me maximum before 3 p.m. tomorrow IST, 3 p.m. because I'll be going to temple in the evening by 4:30 I'll be going so I can compile all the calculations of the japam our students have performed and I can offer it at the lotus feet of Kamalambika and then finish my journey here and come back. And also one interesting thing, let us not put this in an emotional manner. We will connect this further. I have offered today, apart from the Abhisheka and other Sankalpa sponsorship that I have offered on behalf of each one of you in our Mahavidyalaya, I've also offered Nitya Puja Kanike Seva. Starting from tomorrow, it will be for 365 days. They will be performing Sankalpa on Sri Chanditantra Mahavidyalaya. It means that it is performed on your name and my name, those who are a part of this Mahavidyalaya. This initiative is taken. It is first year's anniversary celebrations of Chandika Mandali transforming into Sri Chanditantra Mahavidyalaya. And also all of you, those who are trying very sincere to seek. And when I made this offering to Devi, I offered this prayer that next year, by the time it is going to be 1 year of the 365 days, once when we are going to finish, I should be able to visit you and this Kumbhakonam Kshetra with my students, and we should do a live Shakti Kshetra darshan and conducting live classes in these kshetras. And I explain the Mahatvam iconography of Devi as you have darshan. And we will perform a week of complete yatra because Kumbhakonam is a place filled with temples. Actually, a lot of important temples are there. So a 5 days of seven suffice, 5 or 7 days of Shakti Kshetra Yatras, all these reflections that we have been reading and contemplating, we will try to do it live. That is the Sankalpam, that is the Prarthana that I kept in the holy feet of Devi. So you all be well prepared, study well, save some money for this trip, for all these trips, plan some vacations. We will announce all these in advance as early as possible. We will announce maybe 3 months or 5 months before itself. We will announce and keep these as your targets. Actually, you are not simply studying. There's a larger picture unfolding here. And with along with satsangs, along with japam, along with upasana, we will, along with the yatra, traveling together, learning, sharing the experiences, and immersing ourselves in the experience. We'll conduct a beautiful Kumbakonam yatra, and then we will offer uh, Matrika um, Akshara Mala Puja to Kamalambika once when we come next year in the to Kamalalaya Kshetram. We'll offer a Maha Abhishekam and Matrika Akshara Puja to Devi actually. What is Matrika Akshara Puja and all? You have to study, then only I can explain. As you progress further, it will be because she's Akshara Rupini. Akshara Rupini, there are 51 letters. So she is the foundation of those Aksharas actually. And these aksharas have a deep implication in Tantra, in Sri Vidya, and in our learning actually. Because without alphabets, we cannot learn anything actually. And here it is called as Akshara Peetam actually. Because she sits on that Akshara Peetam. The asana on which her Simhasana is called as Akshara Peetam actually, which has three levels. That is Atma Tattvam, Shiva Tattvam, Vidya Tattvam. Actually, like that, she's in different Tattvam actually. And then Sarva Tattvam is she herself actually. That is the way she is. So study well. That is the only thing I would say. If you're not going to study, all these things are not going to happen. So keep studying. Keep these as motivation, and let's proceed further. Okay, let me take today's class. Kali as an exemplary Vidya. We are continuing from there. Last class I explained about the Karpuraradi Stotram and explaining the dimensions of Kali as how it is not that she's just the the Ugra Tattva that she's been constantly she's associated, but how beautiful she can also be. That is what the idea that unveiled in our classes. And moving further, today we are going to further understand Parambika in this idea of how she's exemplary. The last week, as the last class, as I mentioned, she is Mahavidya. She's not just the Mahavidya, but she's Mahavidya because Kali represents what is called as the ultimate reality of that fully awakened consciousness, actually. That is, she she has completely, what to say, she has completely um, questioned the entire notion in which the societal functions in what is called as an orderly manner, because she has uh, gone beyond that order actually. She has gone beyond that order and she has established herself beyond that order. And why she had to do that is something very important, and that we will understand it from two dimensions. One, from her lolling tongue, and the second one is her disheveled hair actually. This lolling tongue has two reasons actually. According to the Kali Tantra or the Kali Purana also, uh, there are three reasons we can find actually why she is actually what is called as having this lolling tongue. One, when she's extremely in a happy mood, or when she's extremely in a terrific mood. When this extreme happy is actually associated with what is called as ecstasy. And when I'm talking about ecstasy, it has deep tantric meaning, and it connects with what is called as her deep interpersonal relationship with Shiva, which of course I can't explain in these fundamental sessions because that is all meant for very advanced level of understanding. So her intimate space with Shiva and how ecstasy is connected there is identified. It is identified in that understanding. And number two, when she is in anger, extreme anger actually. And that anger or that outburst is what is considered, or what it is called as the expression, actually, the extreme expression. If anybody who is terribly anger and they can express is only Kali, it seems. Because see, we all get anger, including humans, including animals, including other kingdoms of other living entities, including devatas, different manifestations of devatas. Everybody have some kind of anger, they exhibit that anger. But that anger's exhibition, or that anger coming into a form, it's itself is Kali, it seems. And that is expressed in a lollying tongue, actually. And that expression of anger is what? That expression of anger is, again, it is understood in relationship with time, actually. Time as an expression cannot be what is called as uh, completely be comprehended, actually. Completely be comprehended in the sense, if I have to simplify, how much time is left? It's a kind of an infinity question, though mathematics can give a kind of an answer, but it is an infinity only in a way, actually. It is both infinity, but it is also what is called as, you know it also have some kind of, it has an end, but it still doesn't have an end, actually. Like, in simple sense, we will, all of us have to quit this, what is called as this physical body. Correct me if I'm wrong. We all have to quit this physical body, but still there is a way we will live, actually. Like, for example, in simple sense, for simple human beings, perhaps we will live in the memories of our family members. Yes, perhaps we live in certain legacies that we have created. Perhaps if I have lived a better life for my country, then I'm considered to be Amar. Amar means I'm eternal. So the concept of time and this death, though it can come to an end in a technical manner, but it is not ending, actually. There is a continuity that is existing within it. And the time and death, the knot between that is Kali, actually. Time and death, the knot, the connecting thread is Kali. And that connecting thread that she does is that anger, actually, that expression of that anger. Why? Because these are two extreme process of binding consciousness, actually. Time and death, actually. And to deal with that, she expresses, she instrumentalizes what is called as anger, actually. Because it's not an easy task, actually. So that is a kind of an medium, a space, an instrument, actually, that anger, that is that extremity of anger that I'm talking about. Are you able to understand? മനസ്സിലായോ? समझ में आ रहा है क्या? पुरीदा? अर्थ आयता? अर्थమైందా? It might be a little difficult, actually, because these are very deeper truths, actually, more than there's a kind of an explanation to understand this, but this needs to be experienced with sadhana, actually. Okay, so that is the idea of what is called as the expression of anger. Anger is an instrument to connect two extreme things of consciousness, which is time versus death, actually. And time versus death and anger, all these three are identities of Kali herself or expressions of Kali herself. And that in itself is Kali, basically. Time, death, and anger. Because all these three are identified with Kali. Yes or no? Which is very important for a sadhaka performing sadhana, because we wanted to annihilate all these three from us. Actually, we want to go beyond time, we want to go beyond this death, and we want to go beyond this anger also. So she is there and she is not there also. She is there and she is not there means that is Brahma Chaitanyam. She's there, she's not there. Correct? In both places, she's there actually. She's there and she's not there. Saguna Nirguna Tattvam actually. Are able to, can you all please give me some emojis or some kind of an understanding whether you are, or smile at me happily? Some people are writing. I do not know what is that you are writing. Are you all scolding me and writing something? I don't know. Some of you are so expressionless. All of you are writing, but how many of you are writing reflections, huh? Is there anybody who's saying, I have not understood all these things? Then you are the right person to learn this Mahavidya. So don't worry. Just keep listening. That's more than enough. And my guru will say, you don't have to understand everything and anything. Let it go inside and it will do its work. It's just like a medicine. You don't know what is the composition of the medicine, what is the medicine that now only we have internet, so we just go on Google. Correct? Now what is that medicine doctor has given, this and that we all find out. But where we know what is the medicine that doctor is giving, we simply have the faith and we eat the medicine actually, and we get resolved with our issue. So this is something like that. That's what my guru will say. You just simply listen. That's it. You don't have to really use your brain here actually, because this is beyond your brains. It will go inside and it'll do the work. That's it. So those who are really thinking that I'm not able to understand this, welcome to the club. Okay. So Kali's tongue is, this idea is expressed. And when we are talking about Kali and understanding the dimensions of Sagunam and Nirgunam or this Chaitanyam and all, definitely we cannot, wind up this conversation without talking about this one particular great Mahatma or Satpurusha, who's none other than Ramakrishna Paramahamsa actually. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's life, as you all know, is a tapasvi, a great Kali Upasaka, and the Gospels of Ramakrishna or Ramakrishna Charitam speaks about this profound incident from the life of Ramakrishna, where Ramakrishna keeps, in the trance stage of worshipping Mahakali. He had kept the what is called as his own ficus in his hands, that is his stool, in his one hand, and he kept what is called as chandan in one hand, and he could see both to be the same actually. Both to be the same, the chandan, the mixture of chandan and his own stool, or what is called as the ficus, is to be the same actually. There is no difference between both. He didn't find any dualities between the both. That kind of an extreme understanding is what Ramakrishna depicted actually. And even Ramakrishna went to the extent of, in Kalacharam, we have what is called as, people take, because this is something very important when we about Kalacharam, it implies what is called as the Panchamakaras. People take this for granted. Okay, drinking is also, you drink and everything, you have alcohol and everything involved. Okay, this is a kind of a good excuse to, to drink and everything. But you look into the example of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he could drink if he could drink wine as a part of the Amritam and everything that we do in column. He could even drink his own urine, it seems, actually. And he didn't find the difference between the both. That kind of an extreme, what to say, that that realizing everything is oneness, actually, and connecting that oneness. And when we talk about this oneness, of course there are always people like us, like they when people got to know that Ramakrishna is like this, like, he could keep what is called as chandanam in one hand and his own stool in one hand, and trying to say that he has realized everything to be the same and everything. There was somebody else, a fellow saint, challenged him, it seems. Like, having your own stool in your hands and making all these, dramatics are all fine, actually. But when you actually experience of touching and doing all these things with others, ficus, then we will understand whether you have this Brahmagnani Tattvam and everything, it seems. That kind of a talk came into the picture, it seems, because Ramakrishna was doing all these extreme things. Because people will say, right, he's attention seeking behavior and he was a mad, he's doing all these things. Then when Ramakrishna got to know this, actually, what he did, he invoked Kali upon himself, and he went to the riverside where people, that there was a time where people do public defecation, actually, that people will be doing publicly, they will be defecating. He went to that particular place, and because he invoked Kali upon him, and he was running like a mad, like in that Kali bhava with a lolling tongue, and he went and tasted those public defecation with his own tongue, it seems, actually. And he could still did not feel that disgust. He was still in that same oneness. He was still in that same trance. And still he was in that same bhavana, actually. You imagine that highest level of expression. Why that is Ramakrishna? Why do we still glorify Ramakrishna mission? Because this is the foundation that the Acharya has laid, actually. A living exemplary life of being a sadhaka, actually, or of performing sadhana, or invoking Parashakti within, and being in that stage, and exhibiting that stage, actually. So this lolling tongue, that is the third aspect which I wanted to connect with Mahakali through the example of Ramakrishna, that Kali is taking all the forbidden things from us, it seems, which nobody else is ready to take from us. She is ready to take all those forbidden things. In other words, our karma, particularly the sins, actually, for which we are suffering. A very important dimension of the Mahavidya, actually. See, unless and until you cannot be extreme, you cannot land up doing all these things. You understand? So, she being extreme is because of these reasons, actually. Somebody who's bound by things, they cannot do all these dimensions. She doesn't want to be bounded. Therefore, that's the reason she is able to do things for her own children, for her own upasakas, that, making them from that bounded stage to make them unbounded, actually. And that is set as an example or exemplary from the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, actually. A very important idea. Why? Because this is the dimension, students, that is making us to realize why these Mahavidyas are extreme, actually, which is a very important point for all of us to understand, because we are slowly going beyond those two important things. One is miracles, and one is that fear factor that is associated with these dimensions, actually. They are extremes because there is deep secrecy involved there, and deep afflictions of human life, emancipation, and suffering, which is not ordinarily can be removed, which ordinarily cannot be worked out. They work on it, actually. And that's the reason there is extremity that is exhibited, actually, which is very important for us to realize. Got it? Because my guru used to even say this. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be only two things, actually. One, you keep talking, you keep brooding, you keep saying, like, I am suffering, I am suffering, I am suffering. And then the moment you see something else, then you shift. From there, you have some suffering, and then you keep shifting. But somebody has to take that step, right? To show that kind of what is called as the wilderness. They come with that extreme force. Enough is enough now. You have done enough nonsense. Stop. I'm going to pull you now. That is what is called as the Mahavidya. Are you able to follow? Otherwise, this keeps continuing. Our suffering, our all these things within this particular dimension. We are in a dimension, actually. Within this dimension, everything is continuing. Happiness, sadness, you know, all extreme dvandvams, actually. And if we have to go beyond these dvandvams into these differentiated realities, and we have to go into that ultimate reality, we need what is called as the expressions of these greater force, actually. And that greater force is coming in extreme force, actually. They are coming in extreme forces. And the sadhana is actually preparing us to face that, actually. They say, right? You prepare yourself to face the storm, actually. The storm is coming. We cannot stop the storm. The storm is coming. So what you should do, you should prepare yourself as how you will go through that storm, or you survive the storm. And that is what is called as the strategy of the sadhana, actually, as guided by the guru. So this is the idea behind Kali's expression of the tongue, actually. Three kinds of very broad interpretations that the traditions are talking about. One, I'm talking from both the literature, from the folklore traditions. Both are covering these aspects, actually. Like whatever I spoke from various sources, this is what is the explanation that is coming out as why she's having lolling tongue. And another expression that why she's that exemplary consciousness is all about her dissolved hair, actually. Her dissolved hair, that is that open hair, the frizzled hair that she has, actually. It again represents what is called as beyond the societal's, the structured way of looking into a disciplined form. See, in today's time, I think these interpretations are written by acharyas and saints and other great people, maybe previous times. In today's time, all the Gen Z and previous generation, the other the 90s kids, no, like they have different dimensions of names. These people are all with open hair maximum. So they are all manifestations of the Dashamaha Vidyas, actually. So we are not talking about them. I'm happy in a way they are manifestations of the Dashamaha Vidya. They have their extreme, independence in doing things like the Mahavidyas, which is wonderful. But this particular interpretation that we are talking is that expression of having, mated hair, the mated hair versus the open hair, actually. And the tradition deeply talk about this. And I think until all your generations, I think your mother would have never allowed to have what is called as an open hair. Actually, it's just not possible. You cannot even think. Even I have seen, like, I mean, I know I have seen, like, even when when you have taken bath and you keep it open for an extended while, they will not allow it. Actually, they'll say, hey, why are you not make it fast, actually, and tie your hair. Actually, that's the kind of understanding which we have been brought up with, because this having this open hair is having two kinds of dimensions. That is what our teachers are teaching us. One, this entire cosmos is free flowing, it seems. Actually, it cannot be bounded or braided, actually. So Kali is representing that free flow of the cosmos, which is expressed in that dissolved hair. Actually, that dissolved hair is all about the expression of that free flow that is there in the cosmos, actually. Now the thing is that if okay, fine, there's a free flow in the cosmos, but it can beautifully flow, like the way all the women appear in that shampoo advertisement with a nice hair, right? Why she has to have a terrific hair? Actually, that terrific hair or the knots that is there in that hair shows that chaos that is there in the world, it seems. Actually, the chaos, the unrest that is there is represented in that, in what is called as the dissolved entanglements that is there in her hair, actually. Or rather, in other words, the acharyas are explaining that Amba is actually taking those entanglements upon herself. Actually, all those mysterious entanglements which we can undergo, she is taking upon her, and that is manifested in her dissolved hair. Actually, in Tamil we call it as chikkumudi. Like, it is like entanglement, and you need to entangle it, with the comb we will entangle it, or with the hands we entangle the hair, so that all those tangles that she's having is all that unresolved disputes that we have been carrying since time immemorial. Once we understand Kali Tattva, once when we surrender to Amba, once when we do this sadhana, she takes that entanglements, and those entanglements are represented in her hair, it seems. Because these entanglements are such fierce energies that it cannot be simply dissolved. So what she does, she places on her hair, it seems. Actually, that's the reason it is all completely entangled self of her hair, actually. So the cosmic idea, the free flowing idea, along with the entanglements of the human self, the human suffering, or in other words, her children suffering, is being transferred to Mahakali. Actually, it's been taken over by Mahakali. Actually, number one. Number two, the open air, the hairs that she keeps in open, it also represents what is called as she is beyond the order. Actually, she is that extremity. Actually, she cannot be put in any order, because she is time. Therefore, it is she who creates the order and she dissolves the order, and she cannot be bound within any order, actually. And that time is represented in that dissolved hair, actually. Number three, the disheveled hair is considered to be a pollution in the society, in the human society. Having open hair is considered to be a pollution. It's not accepted. And we have example um, from Mahabharata, it seems that Duryodhana, this classic example of the Chira Haranam, the the sari, the pulling of the sari, the she was Draupadi's sari was pulled out in the sabha, and at that point of time her hair gets dissolved and she leaves that hair open, it seems, actually, like that, taking, she wanted to create that chaos, actually, and she didn't wanted to mate her hair again until, she took this sankalpam, this, that the Duryodhana and her and the team, should get, should be finished off completely, for the injustice they did to her, actually. So that idea of what is called as, that is not, perhaps that is not pollution, I'm not trying to say it as pollution, but a kind of an extreme extremity, which is exhibited, actually. Also, there was this time, it seems, in the society that existed where women, when they used to menstruate, women, when they had childbirth, or when they had intimate time with their husbands, with their partners, they used to have open hair, actually, which means that, there is something, that it consider the idea of that they need to be cleansed after those, after those kinds of acts, like the childbirth or, menstruation and everything, they need to take bath and become purified, quote unquote, that purification. So Kali wanted to, Kali doesn't want it to be put into those dimensions, actually, because she is somebody who stood over her husband to show that she's beyond everything, actually. Look, I can't be even put within the family role, you cannot put me into those dimensions. So you can, she became a digambari, she became completely naked, actually. So she's extremely proving to us that, I need to be in that extreme space, then only I can bring out each one of you from your extreme situations that you are in, actually, basically. Only an extreme person can understand the extremities that can take place, actually. So she is that extremity in herself, actually. And such an extremity cannot be put within a particular dimension or particular order, which is very essential for us to understand, actually, as upasakas of Ambika, as upasakas of Shakti, to understand. And last but not the least, I will compile with Kali as how she is the Advaita Mahatattvam. And then, as I mentioned, we will take over to Bhaglamukhi. Because why Bhaglamukhi? Because the upcoming Ashada Navaratri is for Mahavarahi, but also the Tantras very clearly say that it is Bhaglamukhi Navaratri also. It is Ati Guhya Navaratri, actually. Varahi Navaratri itself is Guhyam only, but thankfully, we are all blessed by her Kripa that we all know the Navaratri, and we are all going to celebrate in our Mahavidyalaya, and you are all going to perform online pujas. There is a lot of online puja, prayers, and everything that has been planned. You will be getting to know what we are going to do during the 9 days of Varahi Navaratri in our Mahavidyalaya. Apart from the Varahi, it is also Baglamukhi. So that's the reason I'm taking up Baglamukhi, so that I can explain to you all and you can be within the Tattva Sandarshana of Baglamukhi, and then we can take up the celebrations of the coming up Gupta Navratri. Thank you so much, all of you. And as I mentioned, keep doing your prayers. Tomorrow is a very special day for all of us. It's like a festival. We generally celebrate festivals and we feel happy, but this is a festival for the self. Though your family members might not be a part of this, but it's a very important day. There is somewhere, somebody, your teacher is going to do prayers for you, and off we are all getting connected. So do your Sahasra Avarti Japam, and if you know Lalita Sahasranamam, do the Parayanam of Lalita Sahasranamam and simply Kamalatmika and be in prayerful attitude until the afternoon, till the time I come out from the temple and put a message about the prayers that took place actually. Thank you so much, all of you, and have a wonderful uh, morning routine of prayers and Sahasranama Japam. Let me end the session with Mangala. सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते जयन्ती मङ्गला काली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा दात्री स्वाहा स्वदा नमोऽस्तु ते ॐ शान्तिः 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 सर्वं श्रीचण्डी महालक्ष्मी अर्पणमस्तु तथास्तु. Thank you so much. Namaskaram.
Thank you,
Thank you
Guruji.
so much.
Pranam,
Thank you
Guruji.
so much. Thank you, Guru.
Thank you.